Darren Mougey and Aaron Glenn spoke with reporters for the first time since the end of the season. Today, we're going to talk about the press conferences, what was discussed, and give our inputs and provide some video clips on all the updates. Joining us now here for the Jets Life podcast, please like and subscribe and join the channel. Welcome to the Jets Life podcast. I'm your host, Anthony, joined, as always, on these Tuesday nights by Big Dom, 77. Although you got to give your name a little difference here, man.
I know. Maybe I'll put Big Dominic, 77.
Big
What's
day
up,
today.
guys?
First time we're hearing from Darren Mougey, Aaron Glenn from basically the end of the season. A lot of stuff has changed, a lot of conversation points. Scouting Combine is here this week. I think the first official workouts start end of this week. I think Thursday is the first day. I'll have to take a look at the calendar for that. We'll go into some of the commentary that they've had. I have a few videos posted. We'll share in a few moments here. But Dom, I guess you want to give any insight before we get started, or jump right into some of the
No, we can just jump right into it. You know,
right,
again, very pumped up about this week. You know, big week for the Jets. You know, down in in Indianapolis. Checking out our potential, draftees that'll be coming to our team. You know, I'm pretty sure they'll be talking to a lot of the coaches, potential trade targets. Who knows? But it'll be an interesting week, and hopefully, with more to come.
Yeah. So a lot was talked about the process of, hiring these coaches and all that stuff. Biggest takeaway, I think, when you start going into this is we were just in for it for a defense coordinator who was going to call defensive plays. Late in the game, that play calling responsibility went away. And here's Aaron Glenn for the first time commenting on the play calling and his decision to move on as the play caller moving forward.
Really. Doing it for 4 years in Detroit, and man, just look at the maturation of those 4 years of how we improved every year and how I improved as a play caller. I really miss doing that, and I think it's a huge part of helping us become the team that I see us become, the team that I knew Moose see us become, the team that Woody sees us becoming. So that was a huge part of that, and I don't want to second guess that. And I will go back when I say.
All right, so Dom, tell me what you think here. Tell me what you think about Aaron Glenn's superpower.
I mean, listen. When he says something during that press conference where it's like they were this close to bringing in Wink, and he also turned around and was saying something like, he's excited about calling the plays on defense again. I never thought Detroit's defenses were great, but the one thing I have to say though, he did keep that. They had a lot of injuries those years too. He went down with I think he was missing like 8 or 9 defensive starters. Still had him playing at a good level, So his ability, him being a DB and a fantastic one, and his ability to coach defense. Listen, it's his ship now. You know what I'm saying? So if that defense does not clean up and get better, he's gonna have to be a top 15 unit next year to even
That's yeah, it'd be nice if he gets a top 15, but that's a huge hill to climb when you're talking about how bad they were.
Right.
Here's my thing. Play calling on defense better be your superpower, because there was a lot to be unthrilled with what we saw last year from his defensive unit. I don't know, he wants to call it a superpower. That's fantastic. Something's got to give here, because from every other aspect of his play calling, or from his game, from time management, just overall game management, by his own words, inside 4 minutes at the end of each half comes down to coaching, or it comes down to the head coach And the Jets fell short a lot in a lot of his games in the last 4 minutes of either the first half or the end of the game. He's got a lot to change, a lot to fix, a lot to correct. He sounds like a guy who kind of identifies the things that needs to be corrected and need to be fixed, and that's just a matter of time whether or not he actually makes those improvements. Another big target point on the Jets over the last few weeks has been basically his change of pace on, from getting a guy who's going to call a defense that was kind of his initiative or his plan going in the offseason. And then what changed? They had Wink Martindale in for a conversation, and a lot in the media believe that Woody Johnson had his hands in the pot. And here's his commentary towards that.
I'm glad you asked that. And let me preface this by saying this first. You get respected in this league by winning. And when you do that, there's certain narratives that like just really change. And I think there's a narrative about this team. I think there's a narrative about me, about our general manager, and about Woody that really needs to change. And here's how Woody operates in this situation. I have an opportunity to go in there and speak with him about my vision on how I see the coaching staff, my vision on how I see the team. And Woody's answer is always, what can I do to help you? What can I do to help you be successful? And I feel fortunate to be in a position to have an owner that operates that way. So I would really like that narrative to change, that he's involved. He's trying to force me or Moose to do certain things. Man, he's there to support. He's always been there to support. And the only thing I can speak for is myself and my relationship with him. And it's been outstanding. So I guess to answer your question, he is not pushing me to pick coaches. He is not pushing me to operate this team a certain way. The only thing he's doing is supporting it. And I feel fortunate to have an owner like that.
All right. So one or two ways this can be taken. Tell me what you think. Number one, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. You don't bash the guy writing your checks, or else you'll be walking out the door.
That's
or number two, there's some honesty here. I mean, I lean more one than two. But what do you think? I mean,
I think it's a little bit of both. I believe that Woody's definitely got his hand on it. I believe Woody didn't want to hire a defensive coordinator and pay out big money, being the fact that he is a defensive he has a defensive background. So he's saying to myself, you know what? Many coaches in the NFL are doing this now. If you're an offensive guy, you're calling your offensive show. If you're a defensive guy, you're calling your own defenses. So he's saying, why should we're not going back to that old school regime, and it worked the first time. You call defenses, we'll bring in somebody really good for the offense. And that's what I think happened. And you're right. He won't say, Woody told me to do this. He'll never say that for sure. So I think it's a little bit of both, but I think deep down inside, Glenn seen it that way and made the decision to bring in this guy from Miami. What's his name again?
Dookie.
Or Dookie. And then they hire Frank Reich, and Frank Reich is going to just hold the offensive powers, and that's it. That's how I see it.
I don't know. I lean more. I mean, we all know what he is. He's gonna get his hand involved when he feels like things are not moving in the right direction. And listen, you can call it what it is. The ship was sinking. There was a lot of issues going on with this team. A lot of outside noise. A lot of fans, with their hands up in the air about where's the improvement, and rightfully so. There's literally nothing that we can see. The two options that they really had were to go with the same status quo into year two of Aaron Glenn, which is do everything exactly the way you did it last year, which would have been running it with Tanner Engstrand, which would have been bringing in a veteran defensive play caller to run the defense. And let's be real, I mean, Wink Martindale was a decent option, but he wasn't the guy on top of all our lists. He was basically the guy that was left.
Right.
The guy that had no other options. Yeah, basically. Yeah, exactly. Had no other options. The Jets were his best option. And at that point, why not just give Aaron Glenn the reins on defense? Instead of using all that money that you would have used for a defensive coordinator.
Put in the offense.
Maybe use some of that money to bring in quality, coaches under the defensive coordinator.
And I believe they
Carl
did do
Dunbar.
that too.
What was that?
They did. I mean, they brought in some good coaches. I mean, honestly, I'm a little bit more. I feel better about this coaching staff going into 2026 than I did last year, going from 25, into 25 season. I mean, you got some.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't know what to take out of last year's coaching staff. This one, you at least know more or less there should be a floor. But I think when you go into this whole thing, the biggest concern that a lot of us had is this guy already hired all his coaches. He did it last year, brought in his guys, and within a year, they're all gone. And he gets the opportunity to do it again. What in his process changed from year one to year two to prove that he's got things moving in the right direction? Here's his words on his changes to that process.
Part of the process that we had going through this whole this coaching search was, Mougey was a huge part of it. Rick Spielman was a huge part of it. And I want to get their opinions on what they thought. And every coach that was brought into this building, man, I want to make sure there was synergy between me and that coach. And I think that was one of the mistakes that I had last year is you hire a coordinator, okay, bring the guys in that you feel comfortable with. And, that hasn't changed. But, man, there was a lot of conversations between me and each coach to make sure there was synergy between me and that coach. So I feel very comfortable with that. I thought the process was outstanding. And, listen, I know that it took some time, and I meant it to take time so I can make sure we get the right guys.
The one thing I'll say about these press conferences, I don't know if you've watched them. I feel like sometimes the people asking the questions are louder than the coaches are, but you don't understand the shit of what the people asking the questions are.
No, you're right. I wish they would actually put up the question on the background or something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I try and stop and get these audio clips like in the right spot, but it's impossible. Anyway, so yeah, process improvement. Sounds like he's talking to more people, taking more diligent time. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts on that.
My thoughts are, you know what? Year one, rookie coach, listen, he knows he's on the bubble. He's got to do everything right. He's got to dot his I's, cross his T's. He's got to make sure that he's going through the process differently than the way he did it last year. Because last year was not good. You know what I'm saying? This time he got vets. He spoke to people around the league. Like he said, he brought up Mougey and Spielman, right? Spielman.
Mm-hmm.
And, they were talking about the whole process. It went through, it took time, and finally they got their man. I mean, listen, I do think he learned from his mistakes from year one. Hopefully it could translate into a better 2026, man. That's the one thing. Listen, if you can coach these players up, man, the sky's the limit for this team.
I don't know about sky's the limit. Limit's the sky. All righty. That's all I had from Glenn's part of the press conference. Anything else? I don't know if you listened to it beforehand.
There was one thing when Glenn, I forgot what part was it, when someone asked him about the hold on, what was it? No, that was a Mougey question. We'll go to the Mougey one next.
Yeah, we'll get into Mougey in a moment. Anything else on Glenn?
No. Listen, I mean, you know that he was on at 1:00, right?
They were both like back to back, like 1 o'clock, 1:15 or something like that.
Yeah. Did you know Harbaugh was at 1:00 too?
Yeah, that's usually what they do. Well, usually like they have the NFC coaches.
All like the big reporters that would normally be there didn't even attend our press conference. They all went
I mean that's expected.
But you know what? Everything is under the radar, though. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's never under the radar when it's a Jets, bro. The one thing I'll say, biggest takeaway I have from the whole thing is he definitely seems like a guy who's more humble than last year. He's not coming into these press conferences acting like he knows his shit and nobody else knows crap. Maybe that's almost a little target. Not saying he put a target on his back, but
it did.
You come in with that bravado, you better back it up. And when he didn't, I'm not saying the reporters turned on him, but they're not going to be so kind either. I actually think they did fairly well from a reporting standpoint. Like Brian Costello commented that he actually kind of enjoys the way that Aaron Glenn handled like the quarterback situation mid-season, just not announcing things. He's like, it's just a funny back and forth that we do, knowing he's not going to give us the answer. It's just fun. But they got to ask the questions anyway. But when he plays the whole game, like I'm smarter than everyone, and then you look stupid mid-season, it's just a bad look overall. So maybe this year he just plays it a little smarter, goes under the radar like he should, and we'll see what happens. But number one, we're at the combine. They got to draft the right players. Obviously, free agency is going to be its own hurdle, trying to figure out how to convince players to come to a place where, let's be real, many believe that Aaron Glenn will be gone in a year from now. How do you convince these guys to come in for multiple years? Money talks, but you know how things go.
No, for sure.
All right. Darren Mougey was also at the podium, as we mentioned earlier. Glenn went first, spoke for about 10, 15 minutes. Mougey came on. A few more clips from Mougey, just like player-specific, transaction-specific. Obviously, the big elephant in the room is what they're going to try and do with Breece Hall, where they're going to tag him, try and work out a long-term deal. And here's Mougey's commentary towards that.
Ideally, we'd find a way to get a deal done and keep Breece around. I think I've said that for the last year since I've got here. Breece is a good player. Want to find a way to keep him around. We've been going through that process and are still doing so. And, we have a week to find out, if we can't get to an agreement, which way we'll go with that tag.
See what I'm talking about? We get to the end of these videos when we get to the next question. They're so loud, but you still don't understand the shit word they're saying. I mean, no surprise here on his conversation about Breece Hall. And he went a little more in detail to it as it kind of proceeded. I think the next question was basically like, are you going to do whatever you can to bring him in, keep him here, whatever? And he kind of reaffirmed that. Breece is going to be here next year. Whether they tag him, work out a long-term deal. I know Javonte Williams just signed a contract, 3 years, $24 million. That at least gives you the groundwork of a contract. I think Breece gets more than that, obviously, if you were to get a long-term deal. If not, the tag obviously comes out to $14 million. The transition tag comes out to $11 million. I think they're going to do everything in their power to keep him here and try and match an offer.
I mean, I totally get it. There's a part of me that really thinks that Breece doesn't want to be here, even though he says he wants to be here.
Why would anybody want to be here, man?
I get it. But the same reason
why we just talked about free agents. Why did they want to come here? Why would anybody want to stay who has been here through it?
Exactly. So I mean, the obvious thing would be to tag him for sure. He has no choice at that matter. Work out a long-term deal if you can. I mean, his contract would probably be like 12 to 13 mil a year. To bring him back. I mean, if you put the franchise tag on him, giving him good faith 1 year, and then if he's giving you problems, there's always that tag and trade situation, and go from there.
See, the tag and trade thing never works though. I hear that everywhere right now. The tag and trade literally never works. If it worked, why? Tell me the last time you've seen a successful tag and trade.
I haven't.
It's been a long time. I don't remember either.
Between a franchise tag and a transition tag.
So a franchise tag is costs more money.
Right.
So a franchise tag would be $14 million, and nobody's allowed to talk to him. That's it. Okay. He's on the team. A transition tag is worth $11 million, and teams are allowed to negotiate with him. And I believe the Jets have the right to match any outside offer.
It'll be theirs.
The risk to that, obviously, is say a team offers, 3 years, $45 million. You want to pay him $15 million a year? Probably not. Or else you would have done the franchise tag to begin with.
Right.
The benefit to that is if nobody's willing to pay him $11 million a year, or, if he's not willing to accept the contract that's out there, he's stuck on a 1 year, $11 million contract.
Okay.
There's risk, obviously, to the transition tag, but there's also benefit to saving $3 million a year.
Yeah, I say we just franchise tag him 1 year, prove it, and that's it. hopefully he can do something with that. If not, we'll move on next year.
Yeah. Thing about the franchise tag is usually a worse situation for the player because then they would have the opportunity to go out there and see what their market is. If he sees out there there's a good market, again, he's able to sign a long-term contract at good average annual value, and then it's up to the Jets whether or not they want to match it. So he still has the opportunity to reach out to other teams. Franchise tag, you're basically saying you're stuck here and there's nothing you can do about it. And that can sometimes rub players, especially running backs. It can rub them the wrong way for sure.
I mean, he's definitely by far the best running back free agent out there. I mean, not by far. I mean, you got guys like Kenneth Walker out there and all that, but that guy bruised up all the time. The one thing I have to say about Brees after his injury, he's been playing pretty durable the last couple of years. So he's been in there, doing his thing. I still yet to think. I mean, I don't think we have used him the proper way for the last 4 fucking years either. Excuse my friend, but I mean, hopefully Reich can change that. But I'm on board. Tag him and bring him back, just like what you said. And I really do feel that's what they're trying to do. Now, the one thing I don't understand is the rumors out there that if KC offered a third, they would have just traded him back then. I mean, now I don't think that was even on discussion, dude.
I've heard a fourth was on the table. I didn't hear as far as a third.
No, I'm just saying that they wanted a third, they said, but there was a fourth on the table, and that's why they never moved from him. So if he was their guy for the last last year, there was never even a possibility of them trading him.
I think it really just comes down to they didn't move him back then. You look silly now losing him for nothing. So at this point, you just might as well bring him back. And let's be real. I mean, the Jets are kind of, we look at the Jets offense and we say it's obviously needs quarterback. So that's obviously the biggest hole in the entire room. Could use some help at the wide receiver position. Could use some help in the tight end room. But overall, you got something to work with. You got Garrett Wilson, you got Mason Taylor looks, pretty solid after year one. But you lose Breece Hall, you're going from having, pretty adequate weapons to Garrett Wilson and hoping Mason Taylor takes a big year 2 jump, or else you really got nothing going on.
That would be a big
obviously
blow.
You got the draft. What was that?
That would be a big blow if you lose Breece Hall.
Yeah, they simply just can't do that. It doesn't make much sense to go that route. Bring Breece Hall back, franchise him, and see what happens from there.
I agree totally.
I think you definitely look at the draft, and I wouldn't say it's impossible. I think you even look as early as second round. If there's someone out there at running back, then you have Breece on a 1-year contract. You have a 2-man punch. I don't necessarily trust Braylon Allen. I haven't seen enough out of him.
Me neither.
I haven't seen enough out of him.
What do you? Was it a knee injury or was it ACL? Was it ACL or MCL? What was it?
I don't think it was any of them. For a little while, they were talking about he'd be back middle of the season, and he just never came back. Who
even knows what we're gonna get out of this guy next year?
I have no idea. Let me look it up. I have no idea what his injury ever was. I never really paid 2 minds to it because from all accounts, it was okay, it's severe enough where he's gonna miss,
4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think it started 6 to 8 weeks, but I don't remember it ever being. Oh, it was MCL. It says.
Oh, it was the MCL. Okay.
Yeah. And it says 8 to 12 weeks. I don't really remember it ever being that long.
I remember hearing 6 to 8, and then they pushed it back.
That's what I thought. I thought it was. I remember 8 weeks being the target point.
What they could probably have brought him back, but they were at that point where they're at tank mode already. They were for what? He's going to be part of our plans next year, and let's see where it goes. Yeah, but the biggest issue I have with Braylon Allen is they brought him in to be that short yardage back, and how many times has he gotten the ball on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and just gets stoned at the line of scrimmage? I know he's young; he's 21 years old. I know he's still got time to improve. He weighs 240. He's definitely the guy that fits that mold of a short yardage back. But I don't know. It's just something alarming. Dane's in the chat. Dane, we're talking about your favorite topic, Breece Hall.
and whether or not that's a transition tag, franchise him, or let him walk. But they're definitely going to bring him back. It's just a matter of how, not.
I mean, if that's one guy you have control to bring back, it's going to cost you a franchise tag to do it. You do it, because even if let's say they were to let him walk, what makes you think Kenneth Walker wants to come play with the Jets?
No, he's Kenneth.
The other guy. We're going to end up with a.
I think Kenneth Walker resigns with the Seahawks. To be honest with you.
Exactly. We're going to end up with
Kenneth Walker resigns with the Seahawks, especially after Charbonnet's injury. Yeah,
true.
I think more of a reason why he sticks around in Seattle, because they're probably a little more motivated to bring him back because of the injury.
True.
AVT or Brees, keep one. For me, it's AVT. That's a good little segue. Let's get right into Mougey's comments about the offensive guards.
Monitor them throughout the free agency process, and just go through the free agency process and see where that lands.
Yeah, not much. So judging by the comments from Mougey in that instance, it sounds like he's letting the market play itself out. He's going to let these guys go out there, test the free agent waters, and basically, again, let these players test the market, and then if the market's out there, good, go get them. But if not, then you have an opportunity to bring one of them back.
They're going to be swiped up, dude.
That's my concern too. Here's my caveat to this whole thing. If you're letting them do that, then I expect you to be all in on a guy like Tyler Linderbaum.
Either that, or in the draft, you're picking up that kid from Penn State, number 16.
Yeah. See, maybe. My thing is
control on a cheaper deal. I mean, they could be thinking that way, and there you go. You're solidified that line. Now you're good for friggin' 10.
My concern with that though is how many resources can you invest in an offensive line, man?
I know. I agree.
You got 3 first-round picks. You'd have a potential $20 million center.
Yeah.
And a second-round pick as your right guard in Joe Tittman. That's a lot of resource to an offensive line. And listen, I like our offensive line, but they still got a lot to prove. They're still very young. I understand that. But they still got, they're not needle movers. You know what I mean? Not yet, at least. They still have time to. They're
young, like you said. They're young. They haven't. Listen, the one thing I have to say, they were together, except for outside of AVT, that whole group stayed together all year.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I've seen that. And you know what? There were glimpses of wow, this could be really good. And then there was some games where you scratch your head and you say, what the hell just happened? When they sacked, what's his name, 8 times that game. I forgot what team they played, but he got sacked.
Denver.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, whatever. Where's our offensive line this whole game? So again, they're young, now with a good offensive line coach there, year 2 of it, I think can be better. Like you said, Tyler Linderbaum is not coming to the Jets. That's just not happening. They're not going to spend $20 million bringing a center.
Well, why?
I love them.
So why not though? Why wouldn't you?
Why would not? Because the Jets have too many holes to fill. $20 million is 2 other starters somewhere else, and they have too many holes. If we were I get what you're saying.
You're not going to find a quarterback. The only way you escape this season without looking foolish to some extent is by winning with the run game. I mean, that's literally it. There's no other avenue. I don't expect them to sign Tyler Linderbaum, but
that would be a wild factor. He's going to the Giants, dude. It's market
potentially. If you told me to put my money on it today, I'd say he's either going to the Giants or he's sticking with the Ravens. Yeah, for sure. But what I'm saying is, if you're letting AVT and John Simpson just walk out and test the market, then you better be in on improving. You can't go. A big reason why the Jets' offensive line wasn't as glaring of an issue last year is because they did have John Simpson. You can't go into this year 2 with Glenn having Josh Myers and question mark at right guard at left guard.
And you know what? And that's why I kind of lean towards John Simpson a little bit too, for the fact that, listen, the guy's a warrior, man. He plays. I mean, he does stupid things on the field, but he plays really solid.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get hurt either. You know what I'm saying? He plays all year. He plays all 17 games.
So my concern with John Simpson is when they got him when not many people knew who he was. They got him for a really cheap deal, and he kind of,
shined.
He played above his contract, which not many players that come to the Jets as free agents do. Basically, nobody that comes to the Jets outplays either their draft position, their contract, whatever have you. He was, a rare player where you got him for a friendly deal. I think it was like 2 years, $15 million, 2 years, $12 million, somewhere in that ballpark. It was a pretty cheap deal. He overplays his contract. He's older now, and you're probably going to have to go up a little bit from that original contract. And do you find yourself in a situation now where you're banking on him to be your primary player, and maybe you're catching him at the wrong time? He's played, a big conversation point coming into the Jets was that he got called for a lot of penalties, a lot of holdings. And then this past season, a lot of those ugly faces kind of creeped up again. A lot of dumb penalties, some cases protecting his quarterback, and which you respect. But in the same case, like I look back at that Pittsburgh game, taking a roughing the passer at the end of the first half when they were at midfield was kind of stupid, especially the way the game ended. It ended with a one-score game. You could have potentially stolen a few points at the end of the half. The way that offense was playing that game, you expected it. I think that's a part of the issue is like Glenn really needs to have a disciplined team in order to kind of, take that step in the right direction. You can't have guys on your roster just taking stupid penalties and then reward them with a big contract free agency. It just sends the wrong message. Could he be back? Sure. Would I mind if he came back? Not really. But to the same degree,
you got to sign one of these two guys. Are you going to let them both walk? And then what are you going to do? Sign somebody else that is unproven, like you said? At the very least, you bring ABT back. But you know what that contract is going to look like? Probably going to demand $15 million a year, dude.
ABT? Or
15 or 20 million a year.
Would you rather have ABT or would you rather Linderbaum for $5 million more?
I'd rather have Linderbaum for sure.
That's what I'm saying. If you're going to let these guys test the market, then you got to make the phone call. You're going to have to overpay. That's the nature of the Jets right now. They're not getting nobody's given a discount to come to the Jets. I'm more not saying that's. There's a possibility that goes wrong. I'm not sitting here saying it's not going to happen.
It depends what they're doing with the guards. If they sign one of these guys, then I go and Leone for sure.
Probably not, but I think that's part of the reason why they let them kind of test the market.
So the guard market, you can pick up someone day 3, okay? Put them behind like an ABT or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well.
They're going to have to – this guy's going to have to hit some of these picks. I'm sorry. How many picks they have after they have 1, 2,
so here's the issue I have with that.
2 2s, and then they have 3 4s, don't they? Or 2 4s. Was it 2 or 3 4s?
I can look it up in a few minutes here.
Whatever it is. They got to hit on some of these day 2, 3 picks. At least 2 of them. That's it. I'm not saying they're going to be superstars, but at least can be a contributor. I mean, come on, man. How do all these other teams find these diamonds in the rough? And we can't. I mean, we had one. We let it go. We had Huff.
Trying to pull it up now. I mean, all right. So touching back on that, the issue that I have with the whole approach you're talking about here with the Jets as far as like getting alignment in day 3. Listen, regular teams do it, and regular teams make it work. The Jets are not a regular team. And the last thing you want – what?
They have to change. It has to be changed. There's no way. That's why you'll never win then. You'll never be an organization that's going to be treated or play better than they've been playing unless they start hitting on these day 3 picks. You're going to have to find something. And that's it.
But my biggest thing is you can't – the Jets don't have the luxury of messing around like that because – next year, most likely, they're going to be picking a quarterback from the top of the draft.
No, I agree.
And you start having weaknesses on the offensive line. There's going to be a weakness at center. You're already going to have a weakness at left guard, unless you hit, which, again, you're saying go day 3. I don't disagree that a good team should do that.
Even go day 2. I mean, the second round.
I'm better with day 2, which is the second round pick. I'm better with that idea. I just don't know. I trust this regime yet. I mean, they haven't shown enough on day 3. I know it was year 1. It's still, obviously, coming in middle of the off season after, the interviews and stuff like that. Not enough time, even for full-time GMs to get the draft right on day 3, but they really swung and missed in most aspects on day 3. And to say that they're in year 2, you trust them to go on day 3 and pick a starting guard?
No, not a starting guard. I say bring somebody in. You're gonna have to friggin' do something here. I mean, I don't even think they should even have ABT or John. Like, if they're leaning more towards ABT or Simpson, I don't even sign them now. Don't even do it. Like, work out a deal with them and get it done.
That's not what Mougey says. Mougey says,
Mougey better be like changing that, because, dude, if they test bro, they'll leave. They're not gonna want to stay here. You got what I'm saying? Who wants to stay with the Jets?
Maybe they want a different flavor at the guard position.
Only Aaron Glenn wants to stay with the Jets. That's it, dude.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a conversation point. I mean, if you're looking at pick 16, pick a guard, or if you're looking at day 2, pick a guard with one of those second-round picks.
Listen, this
guy's
definitely
an option.
This guy's a beast. This guy Leone is a beast.
Ione?
Okay? Yeah, he's a beast. All right, I see some footage on him. Dude, the guy is probably the best guard interior lineman in this draft, for sure. Okay, so you know what? Remember that guy from who was it? He came out of Notre Dame. Was it Quentin Nelson? The Colts picked him.
The Colts,
very similar player, man. Very similar player. Nasty, dirty. He will beat you. He will protect you. Look at his stats. I mean, he's definitely the best guard. You know what? You draft him, then everything is solved. But then you said 3 first-rounders on that offensive line, 1 second-rounder on that offensive line.
Ione is Dom C approved, and he actually talked about him on our show. So.
Are they going to pay all these guys when they come up year 4 and year 5s? Probably not.
That's obviously a risk you run into, but in the same sense, like,
that's why you got to spread them out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is.
Yeah. So obviously the biggest hole on the Jets roster, the quarterback position. Something that I feel like is a foregone conclusion is Justin Fields not being with the team next year, which obviously we all believe is the case. But
Mougey said
what was that?
Mougey said he's still on the team. He ain't leaving.
He's still on the team.
Yeah, Justin's on the roster, and just like every other position, we're going to evaluate the quarterback position through every landscape, whether that's trade, on the street, free agency, to see what we can add to the team. But Justin's under contract, Vladdy's under contract. We have no, trigger date with Justin's contract, so he's part of the Jets.
Trigger day. Isn't post June 1st?
So
$1 million, is that what it is?
So yeah, so there is no trigger date. What he means by that is
so he's gone June 1st.
He does look like a vampire.
He's pale as can be too.
He's even got the cloak. God, that's classic. What he means by trigger date is a lot of players, I think Tua does. I think I want to say Kirk Cousins does. A lot of these players have these rules in their contract that on March 3rd or March 5th, my contract for this year comes fully guaranteed. When you have a rule in your contract, usually teams are motivated to say, hey, by March 5th, we had to decide if we're going to keep him on board or if we're going to cut him so he gets out there. The Jets don't have a trigger date in Justin Fields in that, there's no guarantees. There's no reason why, they have to, make a decision by so-and-so date.
He's getting cut.
He's getting cut, but they have the luck. Listen, here's the thing, though, with the Jets, too. Again, agree he's getting cut, but you can't, right now they have no quarterbacks on their roster. So, you can't go into the draft. You can't go into free agency with just nobody on the team.
What are you talking about? We got Brady, Cook, and Bradley Zappi.
Oh, my God. I think they have the luxury of just milking it out. Because listen, even if you post June 1 cut him, you can't use that money until June 1 anyway.
Yeah, I know.
So there's really no reason to. There's really no reason to kind of accelerate that move. It's going to happen, but I think that's kind of more or less where he's going with that.
Sign their draft picks with that money,
and that's exactly the case too. You cut him after June 1, you get that $10 million freed up, and you're going to use some of that money to pay your draft picks. You're going to need a little bit more than that. June 1 means you can put it over 2 years. Yeah, so basically he still has the same dead cap hit, whether you do it post-June 1 or pre-June 1. The only difference is that the dead cap hit gets spread over 2 years. So Justin Fields' dead cap is $22 million. If you post-June 1 him, you get $13 million this year, and then I guess $9 million will be pushed to next year. So you'd save $10 million on a cap by cutting him, but you're just spreading $22 million from year 1 to year 2.
Yeah, we're so high on that dead cap money, dude. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean the luxury is like next year it's not terrible. Like you're gonna move $10 million of Justin Fields money to next year, and then like I don't see any other dead cap hits. There's definitely dead cap hits. I don't know why it's not showing right now.
No, there's a ton of it, dude.
Not this year. I'm talking 2027.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not showing right now on my screen, but can you see us backloading our premium signings since 2027 cap is way better, or do you think they'll keep 2027 wide open for a hard reset?
I'm leaning for a hard reset on 2027, especially if this regime doesn't pan out. Because I'll tell you right now, that's the only attractive thing any coach. I mean, listen, I get it. It's still the New York Jets. But when you have a luxury to have 3 first-round picks in next year's draft, where you're going to have like potentially 4 or 5 good quarterbacks coming out, possibly hold that number 1 pick. I mean, if we have that number 1 pick, man, that job is going to be super sweet. The hard reset would basically be, to me, I mean, you're just going to have to upload, and just start over with. I mean, listen, you know what? This is why I'm a little worried about even this year in the draft. Like, I'm kind of hoping that Glenn shows something, you know what I'm saying? And it starts to work better, for the fact that all these players we signed this year and draft this year, could be just like they're worth nothing next year because this regime doesn't want them. That's why I hate the idea of Ty Simpson at 16. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, but Tom, we have a new defensive play caller, so we're saved.
Well, maybe.
So here's the thing with that, though. I would like for them to do the hard reset in 2027. The problem is, and this comes down to whether or not Woody gets his hands involved on this as well. And this is a scenario where I think he should get his hands involved. This regime is going to be dead set, desperate to try and bring in players. They're going to try and overpay. They're going to do everything in their power to try and bring in players here, because if they don't succeed this year, then everyone's without a job. And then, yes, like you're saying, 2027 becomes a pivotal offseason where this is probably one of the more attractive jobs because they're probably going to have a top 5 pick in a loaded draft class for quarterbacks. They're going to have a boatload of cap space.
And receiver.
What was that?
It's going to be loaded quarterbacks and receivers next year.
Yeah. And like Dane's saying, like if you backload these contracts, which is something that they will definitely try and do, they're going to, they have a lot of cap space in 2027. If you can kind of properly structure these contracts, you can, take a small clip of your $70 million cap hit this year and then take a huge chunk of your contracts next year. Like we were doing a little bit with our little game last week. Yeah. Where we're trying to forecast out what this team looks like if they were kind of take that approach in a desperation mode. If they do that, they can take a huge chunk out of that $200 million in cap space they have next year. Not ginormous. I mean, even if you aggressively backload, you're probably taking, your entire $70 million or close to it this year. You're probably taking aggressive $100 million in cap space next year. I highly doubt that's the case. And you still have $100 million in cap space next year. And you still have a top 5 pick. It still becomes attractive. There's still a lot to it.
Hey, listen, Vrabel, took on the Patriots. What did they win that year? 3 or 4 games?
Last year, 4.
Okay. And he went to the AFC Championship game. Oh, the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. Oh, wait, hold on. He went to the Super Bowl. Okay. So listen, and that was through, let me tell you something. He has his quarterback. Okay. He has his quarterback. That's the big part. But he did make they made a lot of signings last year. They spent a lot of money last year, brought in a lot of new faces.
Yeah. Who's Mike Vrabel that's going to take this team that next tier?
Well, what I'm trying to get to is this. Okay. All right, the whole Kirk Cousins thing could be it could be another Mike. It could be another Fitzpatrick year with him on this team. Listen, the guy can still throw. He can still throw the rock. Okay, you have good receiver. If you bring in another good receiver, next thing you know, and you have Breece Hall, and let's say that offensive line does step up, we're talking about a very good offense. Bro, Kirk Cousins can listen. He ain't winning no Super Bowl. I get it, but he can get you to 9-10 wins. I can see that. Man.
We beat him last year.
No, I get that. Yeah,
come on.
No, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying though, these things can happen. It's happened so many. Listen, it happens. The Jets are known for this. They'll bring in Vinny Testaverde. He was nothing before they brought him in. Boom. They brought in Fitzpatrick. He was an okay guy. That year, he was he was the best quarterback in the league. One of the best quarterbacks in the league. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you bring in a Kirk Cousins. I'm not going to say he's going to be a top 5 guy, but if he's a top 10, if he's hovering between like 12 and 10, dude, they're going to win 9 games.
You think Kirk Cousins comes to the Jets, he's a top 10, 12 pick quarterback, I mean?
I think you could say he's definitely a top 15 quarterback in the league still.
I don't know about that, bro.
I still think he could throw the rock around, dude. And he's only a year after his Achilles injury, dude. So
let's not also forget too, over the course of Cousins' last few seasons in the league, cold weather has not been kind to him. In the last games, he's going to be playing a lot of cold weather games with the Jets. A lot of outdoor in New York and Foxborough, Buffalo. Although Buffalo, I think their stadium's going to be I don't know if it's domed. I think it's. I gotta look it up. Whatever. I think all
stadiums should be domed. To be honest with you,
what?
I think all stadiums should be domed.
I think all stadiums should be domed, and they should also have that thing. I forget what stadium it was. I think it was one of the international games, one of the UK games, where they basically it's a grass field, and they have this almost like an elevator system where they put the grass underground, and they'll treat it and take care of it so that they can do concerts or whatever the heck they want to do.
Bro, this is the NFL, the richest sport in the world.
They spent $1 billion on stadiums.
What the heck? Come up with something like that.
So, big thing. The Jets obviously need a quarterback. Is there any opportunity that they could trade up to number 1?
No.
Often, as I do with other teams, talk about moving up, moving back. Absolutely, we'll talk about all those things. But I don't think that's happening. You could ask Spytech, though.
He knows.
Yeah, it's not happening.
No.
Which we all understand. Raiders aren't even picking up that phone.
But you know what still puzzles me to this day is how Dante Moore did not declare for this draft. Listen. He gave up $50 million, dude.
Here's my thing on that.
Disease development. Bro, at the very least, he was going to be the second pick in this draft, no matter how you look at it. Maybe not for the Jets.
He was going to be too. Yeah. The Jets are picking him too.
I'm just saying, let's say it was a world the Jets didn't want him because of that. They trade down.
They were picking him.
I know they were. But I'm just saying, he'd rather go to college than come back out. Even these rookies don't want to play for the Jets, dude.
So here's what I'll say. So Dane's saying he'll go at least 1-2 next year. Trust me. Or I got stacked this offseason. So here's the thing. And I talked about it a little bit. I think it was with you. But I talked about it a little bit a few days prior to him making that decision or whether he was coming out, when I felt like he was going to come out. One of the pros to him going back is a lot of people are skeptical of him from a standpoint of he didn't have enough starts. He needs to sit down for a year. That was a major conversation point because of his college experience. He's not going to have that issue next year. He's going to be able to go out there and continue to develop on the field. That's a big thing. Developing on the bench versus developing on the field is two completely different stories. you learn more by playing, not by sitting. You do learn a lot by sitting, especially if you're sitting behind someone like for Patrick Mahomes. Sitting behind Alex Smith was probably very helpful for him. The Jets don't have an Alex Smith. It didn't make sense for him to come here and sit on the bench behind who? Marcus Mariota.
I get it.
Kirk Cousins.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, you would think that, for instance, you were guaranteed a top 2. He had rather gone back to college and play for the Jets, and that's what it was.
But the biggest thing about it is, though, it's not about coming to the NFL and getting that $50 million. It's not about that. It's about coming to the NFL, doing great your 4 years as a starter, and getting $50 million per year on your second contract. Plus, by then, it'll probably be $65 million a year. I think, like, I don't know who the highest contract. I think $60 million. I'm going to get right around there.
I'm going to give you a couple names right now and tell me if it worked out for these guys. Ready?
Of course.
Drew Aller. Drew Aller.
Okay, but hold on. So he was a fringe guy that some people liked.
Klubnik.
Yeah, Dak is 60. I thought there was someone at 60. No, of course, it doesn't work out for everybody. Sure,
right. There's a possibility.
But so these are guys. Hold on, these are guys that were being talked about as being top 10 picks because of desperation. These weren't guys that on a day-to-day basis people were saying, "Oh, they're top 10 players." When you and I had a conversation about Drew Aller, I said he could be a top 10 pick because there's so many teams picking in the top 10 that need quarterbacks. That's the only reason why we talked about it. Dante Moore was highly worthy of being the second overall pick. The only question mark was his playing time and his experience as a quarterback in college. And you know what? Gotta give it a little bit of respect. He's betting on himself. He's giving him another year, and then he thinks he'll be right. Listen, for a player to say, I don't want to come out $50 million, they're not saying because I don't want to play for the Jets. They're not saying because of that. No, well, whatever. They're saying it more because they're betting on themselves to go into the year.
I'll tell you right now, if the Jets have the first pick next year, Arch is not coming up. I can guarantee you that.
I don't know about that, dude. You don't know about that.
Why? Peyton did it.
Huh?
Peyton did it.
Yeah, Peyton did it because he wanted guaranteed start.
Well, what's the difference? So what's the difference between Peyton doing it and Arch Manning saying, I don't want to play for the Jets? We'll see. Anyway, forget it.
That's a conversation for a year from now.
Yeah.
Less than that, actually, because they'll be making their decisions in January. But listen, at the end of the day, really, like, it's going to come down to the Jets got to get better this year. I think the best way of doing it, getting better in the trenches, and just keep building on this team from the inside out. Because you're not going to get you're not going to spend on corner. You're not going to spend on safety. Well, they should spend on safety, but
they will spend on safety. See. They have to.
I'd like to think so, but
they're gonna have. Honestly, I'm thinking they're gonna have about 7 brand new starters on our defense this year. 2 safeties.
Yeah, 2 safeties. Huh?
1 corner.
I don't know though, because they said they got Azariah Thomas. They should. I'm not saying they won't. They got Azariah Thomas. They spent a 3rd round pick on. They got Brandon Stevens that they're paying what, $14 million this year?
Yeah, something like that.
You got, I guess, Jarvis Brownlee. Like, you could bring in a second nickel. Like, yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, is that like, you know, a starter, quote unquote? I think you probably go with like a third safety type of thing to be like your kind of hybrid safety nickel guy.
Yeah.
In certain situations. So that's 3. 1 linebacker for sure.
You're going to need defensive end, a defensive tackle, possibly 2 linebackers. Not 1, 2. I'm telling you, especially if they're not, and not to mention, they're not moving to a 3-4 defense. They're going to be doing a lot of mixes, bro. There's going to be a lot of 5 fronts, 2 fronts. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be moving around. It's always going to be like a 4-3 base, dude. They're not going 3-4. I mean, if you want to go, I don't know. We'll do our mock draft. I have a different approach on this one now.
All right. Want to jump right into that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let me just make sure it's working like last time. All right.
Are we going to go with this as we signed our guard, though, okay? We don't have to think about a guard at 16. Unless you want to. I don't care. We'll see what the board looks like.
So you're saying we sign a guard?
Yeah, we signed. Let's say we brought AVT back.
Why is this thing not working? All right, let's try it this way. Not sure why it wasn't working the way it normally does.
Boom, there you go.
All right, so we'll do 5 rounds. You want fast, slow? What do you want to do?
Well, go slow. At least the first 2 rounds go slow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then after that, we go right to it. It's always Fernando Mendoza. They always pick him.
Yeah, I would say this. I mean, this is probably like there've been years of certainty. This is like the closest to 100% certainty. Like we've had.
I wonder what the odds are on that pick.
What was that?
I wonder what the odds are on that pick.
Oh, you got to pay them.
Oh yeah, you do.
All right.
All
pick
right.
2.
You know what? I want to do a little bit different here. I'm going to tell you what I want, and then you go what you want, and then we'll decide. I'm saying let's go with David Bailey. Freakish athlete, defensive end.
I'm fine with that. Listen, we're gonna do this 1,000 times.
Yeah, before the draft.
And every single time it's gonna be either Ruben Bain, Arvell Reese, or David Bailey. Like that's
Exactly.
So here's the one thing I want to say about the David Bailey thing. And I forgot to snip this video, this part of Mougey's press conference. When they asked him specifically about the Will McDonald 5th-year option type of thing, he said we still have time to make a decision on that. Here's my thing. And again, we talked about this last week. The Jets are going to have to make a decision on Will McDonald and or Jermaine Johnson this year.
You got to trade Jermaine.
I think that's the most logical way because we talked about it even from a cap standpoint. It makes the most sense. But if you're getting David Bailey at 2, I mean, obviously, Will McDonald is not a 3-down player, so you're obviously getting a different player in David Bailey than you are Will McDonald. But are you really just going to go with 2 bookend?
I mean, if they're going to get rid of Jermaine, then the most obvious pick here would be Ruben Bain Jr. Because honestly,
I think out of 3,
probably the most he's the best at everything he can do. You got what I'm saying?
Mm.
What do you think of that? What you're thinking more Arvell Reese if they get rid of Jermaine?
If they get rid of Jermaine, I think you swap him out for free agency for his skill set. You know what I mean? I think he never really panned into the pass rusher that we wanted him to be. So I don't think you're really replacing Jermaine Johnson's productivity with a guy like Ruben Bain. You're definitely getting an upgrade in Bain over Jermaine Johnson. Similar type of player, but I think Ruben Bain has, from a pass rush standpoint, has a lot more juice than what Jermaine Johnson brings. David Bailey, he's just a pure pass rusher. We'll see how this guy does in the 3-cone this week. That's actually one of the drills I'm more excited to see from his standpoint, because if he kind of knocks that one out of the park, you're talking about a guy that could really push for number 2 overall. But
no, I get it. And the other thing too, Ant, you got to think about this for a second. They're not going to have all 3 of these players for a while. I mean, so either Jermaine's going or Will McDonald's going to go. So you got to bring a pure edge into the game. So Bailey, to me, he has the potential to be that 10 to 15 sack a year type of guy. Now, Arvell Reese, I love the player. Love him, right? The thing is, the only question I'm having, I'm listening to everybody talk, okay, is that what really is he? Is he a linebacker? Is he an edge player? Is he going to put his hand in the dirt?
Arvell Reese?
Yeah. What is he known for?
So he's my favorite player because, listen, a lot of people want to shove a guy into a position that they may not be used to, and here's a player that could develop into a dynamic type of pass rusher. He's got that skill set, he has that ability, but where he will most likely excel, and it comes down to the right type of coaching. It comes down to the right, people, to understand what his strengths are and take advantage of those strengths. if I were in the position of drafting Arvel Reese, the way I would handle him as a player is in year one, I would let him do what he did in college. He played a lot of off ball, and in certain pass rush situations, he went in and was able to rush the passer and was able, he won his matchups. He was more successful in delayed type of blitzes where, like you didn't see him coming type of thing. But why not just draft him, let him do what he does best, and then if he develops into what a lot of people think, which is this guy could, has the skill set of what Micah Parsons was in college, so be it. But a big reason why Micah Parsons slipped where he did in the draft is because nobody viewed him as like a pure pass rusher because he was a very similar player to what Arvel Reese is doing.
I mean,
Arvel Reese at number 2.
That's why I'm really excited about Arvel Reese.
Plus, he's the youngest out of all these guys. I think he's 20. I think David Bailey's like 23. I think Ruben Bain's 23 as well. So we're talking about him being the number 2 player, and he's still got a few more years to develop before he's at these guys' level. I don't know. I think with the right coaching around him.
All right, let's go Arvel Reese with this pick.
Well, I think we've done it the last couple of times. We'll go with David Bailey, like you said initially.
Right. Okay.
Again, we're gonna be doing this every week, and we're gonna be picking between these 3 guys every single time. So like we gotta change it up every so often. So let's go David Bailey this time.
Okay.
Oh wait, you gotta tell me when to pause. Hold on, let me pause for a sec.
All right.
So we drafted David Bailey. Arvel Reese went. Carl Tate went. Are you trying to trade up or anything like that? Is that something you're interested in doing?
No. I want to stay put at 16. Right. Are you looking to trade up?
I mean, if I was, a lot of the targets are flying off the board.
I mean, you got receivers out there.
I feel like we do the same thing every week, try and trade up for a receiver.
16, bro.
Caleb Downs is gone. That's another thing I would try. I would have been excited for something like that. If
that would have been awesome too.
If he slipped, I would try trading up for him. But no, I don't know if there's much of a reason to be trading up at this point. Let it slide. Jeremiah Love, Mansour Delane, Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon goes 12. Fanu, Cassius Howell, Peter Woods. So all the receivers are gone.
Oh, yeah. All right. So now we have our 16th pick. Let's look at our linebacker situation.
Linebackers?
Yes.
Oh, we get.
I'll tell you, dude. I don't know if this is a reach or not, but the kid out of Georgia, C.J. Allen, makes a lot of sense. He's the guy, but
at 16.
I mean, I know it's a reach, but dude, I think he could. He has one of the potentials to be one of the best defensive players also in this draft. But there are a lot of players here ahead of him that can get picked too. Like I wouldn't be mad at
that's my thing. Like
Caleb Banks right now wouldn't be a bad idea either. I'm
Caleb
leaning.
Banks would be awesome. Cade McDonald would be awesome. Ione would be awesome.
You know what? I mean, if it were me picking at this spot right here, at 16, I'm looking at possibly Caleb Banks probably. Are you trying to see if you could pull a trade?
There's a deep slide. Going from
second
16 to 29. I'm just double checking the value chart really quick. So going from 16 to 29 is about 360 points, which comes out to about the cost of a late second. So 54. So this is a little skewed. I thought this value chart looked a little weird. So would you do a situation of you trade back from 16 for 29 and 61?
So that's a second, or swapping first and getting a second. They would have to throw in something else, though.
A round 2 next year.
Yeah, let's do it. And it's not going to go through.
Kick back a 3rd.
There you go. A 4th. No. Oh, there you go. All right, let's do it.
All right. So we're trading back. Now hear me out for a sec.
All right.
I want to take a look and see how this board falls. San Francisco's up. What does the board look like? How is that showing like the...
That is weird. Oh, there we go. The big board.
No, that's converting to a different screen.
Oh.
We're picking in 2 picks. Let's see how it falls. Okay. Now,
there you go.
Address CJ Allen.
Yep. I totally agree with that pick.
I was looking at that spot, like somewhere in that range, to trade up for CJ Allen. I knew you wanted him. See, I was trying to make it happen, make a little more sense.
And now we got an extra pick.
Yeah, we got an extra pick, and we got to pick next year. We're loaded for next year. We got three ones, 2 twos.
Jeez. Now, I mean, listen. As much as everybody wants this kid, Ty Simpson, I'm not looking at Ty Simpson, dude. I don't even want to know.
If he's there, he's getting drafted. I got to tell you that right now.
He ain't gonna be there, dude.
Honestly, if he's there, then I'm drafting CJ Allen. I got to be real with you on that one.
Dude, I don't know, man. I just don't see the Jets drafting a quarterback in the 1st round or the 2nd round. I see it.
So all right. So here's the thing. Like a lot of people are in this Ty Simpson situation. And I agree. I'd much rather the Jets, roll the dice next year. But we got to remember the fact that this guy was somebody being spoken about as the 1st overall pick, not just some guy being talked about as a high pick. This is a guy being spoken about by many as this 1st overall pick, ahead of Dante Moore at one point, ahead of Fernando Mendoza at one point. This was a guy that we were talking about.
Can I say something then?
Never mind, but what?
So the way you're saying this is this then. So if the Jets really want Ty Simpson, they're taking him at 16. There's no way they're going to wait till the 2nd round or trade back into the 1st. That's not going to happen. Or maybe they would trade back. If he falls down to like 27, 28, possibly.
I think his floor is 21 to the Steelers. I think that's his floor.
Gotcha. No, it makes sense.
So here's the thing. A lot of agents, when they give a guy the go ahead to come out of college, they understand kind of where the NFL's leaning in certain situations. They talk to teams, they figure things out, so on and so forth. He didn't bypass, I forget how much his offer was from Miami. I think it was like $7 million a year. He didn't bypass $7 million from Miami to get picked in the 2nd round. Okay? So
he's going in the 1st round. I don't know who.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. His floor, I think, is the Steelers.
Gotcha.
You do what you want here. I know that if this again, I think he's getting drafted here if he's there. But
I mean, in this situation, I'm going to pretend he's not even on the board right now.
You can do that.
There's 2 players I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at Lee Hunter or Chris Bell. What are you looking at? Pac-Man Jones, bro. Lee Hunter's like, what is he, like 330, 340? He's going to eat the middle up, dude. Bring him with friggin' Bailey, man. Yeah, look at him, man. He's a monster. Dude, that defensive line is going to look pretty good with Bailey and Lee Hunter on the same team. I'm just saying. The other guy, I mean, if you want to go receiver, you look at Chris Bell. You could also look at that safety right there. Dylan.
That's actually That's actually what I'm eyeballing.
Who, Emmanuel Warren?
Yeah. I don't think he makes it to day 2, to be honest with you.
I mean, I wouldn't be. I'm cool with that.
So I think it depends. Like if the Jets haven't addressed safety enough in free agency, you'd have to pick him, obviously. But I'm also fine with, again, building inside out. So I'm going to go Lee Hunter.
All right, let's do it. Boom.
Ty Simpson to the Browns.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
I think at this point, it's an obvious pick.
Yeah, I agree. Told you.
Gabe Lucas?
No. Dylan Now we got our safety. I mean, listen, we just completely built our. We're gonna have 3. We have another one in the second round.
Yeah, 61's coming up.
Yeah, and we're gonna have 3 potential 5 starters, dude. And I'm just curious. Look at the guard market real quick. I want to see what's out there. Anyway, I know we drafted who we drafted, but
guards.
Oh, he's a center. I mean, hey, listen, that'll be an upgrade over what's his name over there.
Yeah, I feel like, but again, he's another player I feel like we've drafted so many times.
Yeah, true.
Trying to go a different route.
Let's go a different route. Let's look at the quarterback room. Just curious. I know they're all still there. Nussmeier, Beck, Klubnik.
Where's our next pick?
Huh?
Our next pick is 103.
Yeah.
Oh, it says right here. Actually.
Wait, I would take any of these guys at 103. Let's see. Wide receivers.
So I don't think he makes this far, but we talked about it earlier. Going running back is probably a big topic of conversation. Especially, right? Yeah.
They had 2 running backs over there. They had Love and Jadarian Price. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
I like Jadarian Price a lot. Again, I think he's probably one that goes probably earlier in the second round, but you get him at the tail end. I think that's makes a lot of sense. Jonah Coleman's also another good option, but I like Jadarian Price a lot.
Let's go, get it. We got a running back. Boom. Now we got a while before we pick.
Turbo.
There you go.
I think that's what just Nussmeier go.
You did, yeah. Dude, who's that kid from North Dakota State everybody's talking about now?
Cole Payton?
Yeah.
Dom C was talking about him.
Yeah. You know what? Why not, man?
Dom C interviewed him.
He's not even on this list.
He is.
Oh, geez. You got him in the 8th round if you want.
We'll see. There's going to be
dude, like right now, what's wrong? All right, let me ask you a question. Let's just look at these 2 top quarterbacks here. Here's a flyer. We're in the 4th round right now. What's your take on Klubnik and Allar?
I was never crazy about Klubnik, but like if you ask me today, like I don't know. Again, I go back to like projection here. Like Klubnik was a guy we were talking about being a top 5 pick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What happened to him though? That's what I want to know. What happened to him? Click on him for a second. I want to see what is his what's his height and all that weight. I want to see all this stuff.
6'2", 210.
All right, not bad. A little smaller on the smaller side.
Taller. 6'5", 235.
He's Josh Allen. He's got the Josh Allen like physique.
You want 3 Josh Allen physiques in the AFC East? Is that what you want to do?
Let's do it, bro. Let's go to war with this guy. I had to think twice before it gave it to us. Where the hell are we? We don't know 5th round.
175.
Holy shit.
175 and 178.
Okay.
Raiders and then us. Might as well draft the entire Texas Tech defense, no?
Any guards?
No guards, but I like Coogan.
Yeah, let's bring him in, bro. Bring him in. We got a center, developmental guy sitting behind what's his name over there.
All right, last pick for us, at least this mock draft.
Yeah, let's bring in this guy over here.
Who?
No, I thought it was what's his name. Let's bring in the tight end. Is he any good over there?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
All right, forget him then.
Tennessee tight end. I'm trying to just find names. Jinglehorn. This is where it gets very. So we got Logan Jones. We just drafted a center. You're getting deep into this shit, man.
Yeah, it is.
Getting deep into the weeds. Pick 178.
All right, let me see here. We got you know what? Take the crown over. No, I was gonna say maybe take the. Who is this guy over here? Tight end? Is he any good?
I think the Jets are going to definitely have to take a flyer on day 3 for.
Yeah, take a tight end. Who gives a shit? Take the guy from Tennessee. I never heard of this school. What's this school? Where is he? Houston Cougars? Forget it. I don't want no one from Houston Cougars. All right, I'll go Tennessee guy.
You're done with the Cougars after the Zach Wilson experiment?
Yeah, I'm done with them. That's the way to go. We got to get a bad grade on this one.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. You got David Bailey. I knew that was going to be an issue.
Right, because they would say you should have took these.
A-.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
We got CJ Allen, A-.
Nice. Lee Hunter.
He has a C+ with Darren Price. I don't understand.
That's good, no?
C?
I mean, round 2, 61. They didn't like our Drew Aller pick.
They didn't like our Drew Aller pick. They didn't like our David Bell. That's where it gets tricky. Is at the end of the day, you're still picking one of the top 4 players in the draft.
Exactly. I wouldn't be mad. Would you be all right? Outside of after round 2, I mean, if a deal came, if we ended up with, let's say, Jadarian Price, Dylan Thieneman, Lee Hunter, CJ Allen, and David Bailey as our 5 players going into next year with those in the top 2 rounds, are you upset?
I'm wondering if anybody's playing offense this year.
Well, honestly, if they go this route, Anthony, if they go this route, they will have to, in free agency, make a move for a receiver. I don't know who it's going to be. They would have to bring in a receiver. I mean, that's all you really need is a receiver. I mean, next year, it's 3.
Still need a guard based on this board.
No, we got a guard. We brought back I told you before the draft started, we brought ABT in. So we're good there. We bring a receiver in. You do this. How can you complain?
That's the one thing. I know pick 16 is a big hoorah thing, whatever. But when we got the pick, we were thinking we were picking 29th. If we're going to trade back and then also recoup another 2nd round pick, and then in this case a 2nd round pick next year.
Yeah,
dude, that's honestly like playing with house money. You're still picking where you thought you were going to be picking, and then you have all this additional ammunition that you can.
Dude, I will be very surprised if the Jets don't move one of those 2 top picks, either 2 or 16.
They're not going to move 2 is the problem.
You never know, man. Let's say Arvell Reese, and let's say Arvell Reese and let's say Bailey, both they going crazy. Okay, they look friggin' phenomenal. Okay, you try and tell me let's say not the Giants, but let's say Tennessee, for instance. Where are they sitting at? Oh, they're 3, right?
4.
Oh, they're 4. There you go. Perfect scenario. Let's say Salah wants Arvell Reese or Bailey. They'll leapfrog and go to 2, and they do a swap. It's not like a 2nd rounder in return. Maybe we'll get a 3rd rounder. Move from 2 to 4.
Why would they want to trade up for
Reese or Bailey?
Reese or Bailey when you can have either Reese, Bailey, or Ruben Bain at 4?
Let's say they prefer one of those two guys.
And they're probably going receiver, honestly. I think this board kind of like gave them, like, I think it makes sense. They need to give
Cam Ward
receiving help out there. I mean, listen, anything's possible. I just don't. I find it very difficult to believe. If it was like David Bailey and nobody else, or like Arvell Reese and nobody else at pass rusher, then you can make that argument. There's just 3 guys that do the same thing different ways. You'd have to be obsessed with the way that guy does it, and like you'd have to be like, I need David Bailey because I need somebody who screams off the edge, or I need Arvell Reese because I need just like a chess piece like him.
When reality will sink in, but I really do think with the second pick the Jets are taking Arvell Reese for sure.
Could you imagine this situation if Cleveland ends up with Ruben Bain?
Oh,
I honestly think there's a good chance Myles Garrett gets moved this offseason. Possibly, probably not.
Could happen. What about Cleveland? They're sitting at what, number 6?
Yeah.
Boom. They move up and they want Arvell Reese or something like that. We go to 6. Now we can entertain the idea of possibly Tate, Mekhi Lemon there, and there's your receiver.
Yeah, but Cleveland also has their eyes on the future for a quarterback as well. Like, that's another thing you have to consider too, is like some of these teams are eyeing the future for a quarterback. Like, does it make sense?
They have a Pro Bowl, bro. Why would they want to quarterback?
I mean, Arizona's not trading because obviously
they need a quarterback.
I don't think they're trading because I think they get whoever the Jets don't get, this type of thing. Tennessee, I think, is happy with getting a receiver.
Yeah, but what? All right. So if Cleveland were to make that trade from 6 to 2, you're not talking about next year's first to do that, are you?
6 to 2?
Yeah,
probably.
I mean, it probably would cost this year's 2, and maybe next year's 2 to make that deal. Get 3 2s. You know what? They did it to us. Remember, from 6 to 3. We got rid of 3. We got 3 second rounders for that. So same package right back to us. I mean, that would be awesome.
It costs 1,000 points, which would be the equivalent of actually the 16th overall pick. So
3 2s, bro. I'll sign up for that. Would you not sign up for that right now? If Cleveland knocks on your door, draft day, go from 2 to 6 and get 3 2s in the deal.
So the problem is, like,
who we're drafting
at their picks. So the reason we were able to do it is because we had 2 picks that one draft.
Right.
Like, Cleveland would have to give you a second this year, a second next year, a second the following year. So, like, I mean,
right over years.
The only reason we were able to do it is because we had 2 second round picks that year, and then we gave them 1 more second round pick the following year.
We would have 3 seconds if we do that this year.
Yeah, but I don't know the player Cleveland's trading up for.
Well, let's say you're saying what they're saying. Let's say they come up and they want like Ruben Bain or Arvell Reese.
Yeah, but I don't think they're doing that for. They also have a lot of needs at. They need receivers. They need linemen. Their offensive line is like. That's right. Yeah. They have no offensive linemen. All their starting offensive linemen from last year are going to be gone.
Oh my God, who's it? Oh man, I feel bad for Shador.
So they got some. Yeah, so I don't even think they're drafting Ruben Bain at 6 overall.
Yeah, they're going to be drafting a lineman for sure. A tackle. They'll be going first and second round offensive line.
Jeez, poor Cleveland.
Yeah. Hey, poor Jets, man. We're just as bad.
What else do we got here?
Like I said, I wouldn't be mad at that draft if we had that draft. The only thing I don't think Frank Reich would be extremely pleased about it, though.
You don't think Frank Reich? Yeah, I mean, the chance of the Jets just ignoring offense until
which we've done for the last 20 years, dude. But I'll tell you right now, man. I mean, I know it's not I know it's next year and all that, but next year's 3 1s, dude. I'm thinking we're gonna get our quarterback and receiver power in that draft, dude. That's why I said I think this year they'll probably settle for like one of these, like the guy Juwan Jennings, maybe bring him in as your number 2. You see Pickett got tagged.
Are you paying him $13, $14 million a year?
Why not? I mean, he'd be good. You don't think he's a good number 2?
He'd be a good number 2, but you're gonna definitely overpay for him because again, looking at it from a receiver standpoint, why would you want to come to hell with no quarterback?
No, I get it. No, I get it.
That's why I find it very difficult. Like the mock draft we just did.
Not taking Ty Simpson.
Huh?
Well, by not taking Ty Simpson.
Well, why not taking Ty Simpson? When,
Well, I mean, that's your question. Ty Simpson, when you're saying they're taking Ty Simpson, when's he playing?
When?
Yeah.
Don, listen, we've had this conversation a million times.
I think he started day 1.
Yeah, of course he would be.
Ty Simpson's going to be a quarterback day 1.
I didn't say day 1.
Well, that's
by week 4 he is.
I don't know, man. It depends on who they bring in. Let's say they bring in a Kirk Cousins, it ain't going to happen.
Kirk Cousins didn't start for long when Michael Penix was there.
Kirk Cousins is not coming to New York either. So get that dream. He's going to go back.
You brought him up.
No, I'm just saying. But everybody's talking about he's going to come to New York, blah, blah, blah. He has a history with Frank Reich. You know what? No. He's going to go to Minnesota. Let him go to Minnesota.
Does he have a history with Frank Reich?
Not playing-wise, but they I forgot. They're close friends or something like that, they're saying.
That goes to show how old Kirk Cousins is.
I know.
He's good friends with a 65-year-old.
You know, I mean, most likely first day it's going to be Mariota and company, bro. Mariota, Justin Fields, and Brett Zappi is in a quarterback room.
And Bailey Zappi?
Yeah, Bailey Zappi, whatever his name is.
I need to put like a little chart together of like all of our mock drafts.
Yeah, that'd be
the only one I
cool.
don't have is like.
And then what we do is, you know what we have to do for the next couple of mock drafts, though? Let's do it where we're staying put. We don't move anyway for that fact, because I want to compare it that when draft comes, we'll see which one of ours was the closest to that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just curious. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Close the shot. Anything else, bro?
No, that's it, man. I'm looking forward to Combine starting Thursday, and I'm pretty sure we'll have a lot to discuss next week about that. There's gonna be a lot of reports out there going around, rumors starting to circulate. Because after that, what is it? 2 weeks before free agency starts?
Yeah, I think free agency starts officially on March
12th, the 13th.
9th, I think, is like the whatever you want to call it, the tampering shit. And then 11th is the first official
signing.
Wednesday at 4:00. So
if you
really think about it, like we're 24th.
2 weeks.
We're 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Well, 2 weeks from yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, 13 days.
So next week we gotta come fully prepared with our last
free agent
setup, whatever. So come prepared. I want to go with a little different route next week. I mean, where like, and I'll put something together for this, but like basically going through like position by position, like giving each position like a budget of like what they should be doing, and then exploring the options
money wise.
Yeah, like obviously quarterback.
You know what's horrible about that is because, like, for instance, we're trying to predict it depends what they do in the draft. You know what I'm saying? Free agency dictates the draft. So right. I know for a fact
that's why mock drafts are kind of pointless at this point. Yeah. But
until the free agency is over with, right? Because then you kind of lean towards where you're going to route. But like, for instance, like I know for a fact the second pick is going to be an edge player. I mean, so I know off the bat we're not going to allocate any money to the edge for sure. Linebacker, possibly, I don't know, but we'll definitely work on something like that. Yeah. We got 80 million plus 10, 90 million in the cap.
Right now it's still sitting at like 78 or something like that. Let me pull it up one more time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say 78 is the number. 79.
You know they have to spend $50 million this year.
Well, there's a cap floor, yeah. So they have
Yeah,
to.
they have to spend at least 50 at that 78.
Which I mean is
They're
easy.
gonna do that, yeah. I mean, you tag Brees, there's 14 right there.
Yeah, no, they're definitely gonna spend $50 million. There's no doubt about
When you
that.
tag a player, does that go off of 2026? Is it allocated for that money and that's it? You can't.
Oh yeah,
spread
no,
it for 2 years?
it's an all 1 year contract. Yeah,
That's why people don't like doing that either. I see.
yeah, it's not. You can't spread it. Nor do I mean, do you really want to though? Because then you're
No, I
run,
think you're better off just one, and it's over in 1 year. Done.
yeah. No, it's a 1 year hit. That's why it makes more sense to give him like a multi-year contract too. You go from
Gotta work it out,
$14 million hit potentially this year to giving him a 3-year, $36 million contract, let's say.
Offer that on the table. If he takes it, he takes it. He'd be stupid not to.
Unless he just desperately doesn't want to be here. But
That's the other thing.
all right. It's been a lot of fun, guys. Appreciate everyone for joining the chat. Dane's always friggin' coming at us with some good insight, whatever.
Always.
We're gonna get him back on. And actually,
this time I'll show up.
You gotta show up this time. Don't do that
buddy.
no show crap. And then really, again, 2 weeks until free agency hits, and we're gonna actually start all this bullshit we're talking. We're actually gonna make some noise.
Results.
And hopefully this team gives us something to be excited about. You know, we've gone through many different examples of how we think the offseason ends up going. And then actually be able to see how it all comes to fruition would be a nice little surprise. Anybody who's been here, appreciate you guys all joining. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel.
Before you go,
some love too.
I got one quick question.
Sure.
Okay. Who are the top 10 teams and how much money do they have to spend?
Top 10 teams in cap space?
Yeah. Because not everybody could just splurge all this money, right?
Well, everyone has cap space though.
Who's sitting at number 10 and like what's the amount?
New England with 40 million.
Oh shit! So there is money there. All right.
Who has the most? And then 2027, like if you're doing that same kind of like screw around, top 10 teams. So the top 20 teams all have 80 million plus. So like teams have the ability to manipulate the cap. Yeah. So I mean, like, damn, the Raiders have 255 million in cap space next year.
They could just make a whole brand new team next year, bro. That team could be good if Fernando pans out, man. Boom, there you go. They got a team.
All right. So,
all right, brother. Man.
Appreciate it for joining. Go Jets.